Why the central US? Why have I specialized in the central US? First of all, it's what I know. I lived in the central US. I grew up in rural Wisconsin, dairy farming Wisconsin. Then I lived in Denver. Then I lived in the mountains in Colorado. And then I moved to the Southwest, the desert Southwest here in southern New Mexico. So I have been north to south in the central US. It's what I know. Near reservations in large cities. That's what I know. So that's what I'm going to specialize in. It's where I've worked in almost 20 clinics and satellites. I can speak to this. Here's the other thing. I haven't seen many trainers or coaches that do what I do, but for sure not here in the central US. They're focused on the population centers on the coasts, right? That's where there's more people. That's where their message is going to resonate. That's where it's going to be easier. I'm coming to that one next. I haven't seen many here, and definitely not with this message, right? Of bringing the individual human back into healthcare. Speaking to the leaders, because you are. So we're here. We are here in the central US, okay? And there's some shared stories, beliefs, cultural conditioning that are unique to you. The population centers are smaller here, right? And so being liked by that one person seems to be more important. The town I grew up in was 2,500 people, and we were one of the bigger towns around. Okay. There was a lot of unincorporated 400 person, 750 person little hamlets around. So the idea of narrowing your practice and doing more of what you love, being you, and risking pissing off that one seemingly important town figure weighs more in our minds, right? Those stories of don't make a ripple and don't piss people off and people please and what people think of you matters resonates more in our brains when we're in a town of 3,000, say, even 30,000 versus 3 million, right? That gets in our brain deeper. We're taught that more, okay? When I started traveling when I was younger, my father was from Colorado, but he also had some employees and team members that were from all over the world. I remember the day I met them. And I remember how liberating that was. There's a whole world out there. And if the 16 kids in my grade school class didn't like me, then I would find people that did. I remember that day. Right? And I bring that message to you. So many of you went to the coast to school, and then you come back because you want to serve your home community. Man, and that's up there. That's up there. So really helping you get confident in who you are and realize that yes, it may take more creativity, right? But also that people in the central US will drive hours to the person that will hear them, see them, help them. Okay? So yes, even in the central US, you can truly be who you are, right? You can do what you love and have a prosperous practice, okay? Number 3, these all kind of go together, or no, 2 and then 3 go together. Hard work and overcoming, valued, being the thing that we value, right? They're valued above all else. That's the rule. Like, that's the thing. We value hard work and overcoming in the central US, right? But also this scarcity mindset. Now, if you value hard work and overcoming above all else and you idolize it, right? Like, whoa, man, like she really worked hard and she really overcame all of these hard circumstances. And look at her now, right? Like, that's what's valued, yeah? And there's nothing wrong with that. We get to do that, totally. And if that is your value, what's your cash flow like? Yeah, we're going to talk about it. This is the thing, especially in the central US, that is a conversation to be had, okay? The services you truly want to offer, what are they going to look like? What you want to pay your staff, what's that going to look like? What's that going to require? The peace and ease and comfort you want in your days, whatever that looks like for you, right? Maybe you want 50 patients, maybe you want 5. But the comfort and ease in attracting them, or the comfort and ease in doing that, right? So the belief is not only are there no patients, and you've maybe heard these stories and hopefully you don't believe them because they're not true. Not only are there no patients, but they don't have any money and they don't want to pay. I remember thinking that when I started working in the central US, right? When I started working in healthcare, I worked in Denver. And then I moved back home to some real small towns on the river. They were lovely, right? It was a rural practice. And then I started looking around and I started realizing and I started achieving big things, right? And I had a provider that would do it, that also had the beliefs that I did, and he just needed a team member that believes it. And you start looking around and you realize time after time after time, the highest converting practices are in the central US. In some town, you have to Google. You have no idea where they actually are. It's like a big town you've barely heard of. But here's the thing, they've specialized in their thing. They've committed to it. They got creative. They said, yes, this is what we're going to do. Yes, this is what I believe in. Yes, I'm going to commit to this. Yes, I'm going to make this happen. Yes, I can commit to me. Yes, I believe in me. Yes, I have my back, right? They've done the pre-work that I teach, essentially is what's happened, whether they've realized it or not, okay? They've done this work. They got really clear. They got creative. They got confident. And the people that wanted that came to them. They expanded, and now they teach others. This is what I teach. This is the leadership spiral. It's the pre-work. You get clear, you get confident, you own who you are, you own your dreams, you own your desires, you own your expression. You do it, you develop it, you lead it. People that think you're crazy now are wondering what the hell you're doing. How are you doing that? How are you doing that? And then you teach others. They don't send you to San Francisco to train. They don't send you to LA. They send you to Wichita. It's a cool city, actually, by the way, if you've not been. There's some killer Asian food up in Independence that we happened to find on a road trip one day, driving back and forth to home. From, I guess, our home in southern New Mexico to our house in where my family is in rural Wisconsin. So this works. This works. I can give you example after example after example of where. But you have to believe it. And you have to trust you. And you have to commit to your dreams and your values and the way that you want to practice. You have to commit to your dream practice. You have to say, yes, I don't see this happening now, but I will create it. I am meant to be a leader and bring this into being, whether you believe it yet or not. You commit to it. And you have already, or you wouldn't be, frustrated with what you're doing. You wouldn't be burnt out. You wouldn't be thinking of leaving medicine. You wouldn't be You won't be. You know there's another way. You know there's another way. You know it can look differently than what you're seeing now. You've gotten your experience and be grateful for that. You know what you don't want. Be grateful for that. That's a big step. So the next step is this pre-leadership work. Getting clear, getting confident, knowing what you want, knowing you have systems and structures that support you. Getting that foundation in relationships where they're empowered and authentic and you're cherished. You know, like it's true. You are cherished, loved, and respected for all of who you are. And you feel confident and comfortable showing up that way because you have provided yourself a place to do that and you have protected that above all else. That's where you're frustrated right now. That's the burnout right now. I call it pre-leadership. It's the internal work. It's the lead before you have followers. It's the core. It's the center. You do this work, it naturally expands. Yes, I teach actual leadership, and yes, we go there, but this pre-leadership is first. I train it in a program called the Core Collection. If you're interested, message me, comment, go to the website, leadershipin.healthcare. I love supporting you. You are the leaders of this brilliant new era